Welcome to Organizing for Beautiful Living. I'm Z Simon, the Choosy Organizer. This is episode 123. Tracy Hoth and I spoke a few months ago about the mindset of decluttering and organizing, especially during a downsizing decision. Tracy is both a coach for small business owners and a professional organizer with many years experience. The golden nuggets that she kept dropping during our conversation have stayed with me, and I know they're going to stay with you too. I especially loved what she said about how to deal with letting go of things that you might regret, or how to overcome that fear of letting go of something that you think you might regret later on. I don't think I've heard it said this way. This mindset of making the decision right is so brilliant to use at those times. And then another fun idea she has is to stage each room of your house as if you're moving. What that does is it makes it really clear which things you would move with, or if it's important to you and your kids. And then listen to what her grown kids said that they absolutely don't want from their childhood home. It's actually quite funny, but it's not uncommon. She also said something that struck a chord with me. She talked about a neighbor who felt some shame about the state of her home. I was there once. Logically or illogically, I felt that way at one point. Happily, I'm not there now. All in all, this is a fantastic conversation about how to think of your identity as an organized person, but without taking on anyone else's mandate of what organizing must be. Because when you know what you have, and you can find it easily and put it away easily so that it doesn't affect your daily living, but instead it enhances your daily life, well, then you're organized. So here is Tracy Hoth. Hi, Tracy. Well, you've been a professional organizer for a long time, but now you're also an organized coach for other business owners. So how did that come about?
Yes. So I have been an organizer for 17 years, and I knew eventually I wanted to do something else because it was a really physical job. It required a lot of lifting and moving tubs and boxes. So I thought, what am I going to do as I get older? And I came across life coaching in 2017, and in 2018 I got certified and love combining the mindset, the science behind it with the practical steps of organizing. And as I grew my business online, I realized, wow, this is a lot to keep track of, a lot to keep all
Wow.
my digital files organized. What are my processes in this business? And so I started using my own steps to get organized in my business on the digital side of it. And then realized, wow, I mean, people struggle keeping their home organized. Imagine what business owners are doing in their business. And I started helping other coaches in my field, and then other online business owners started asking me, do you work with other people besides coaches?
Okay.
And I said, yes. If you're an online business, you have digital things that you need organized, I can help you with that. So now I do both. I still have my home organizing side, and I also now have the business side, and I love it.
That's amazing. And yeah, you must be kept very busy. So how do you plan around that? When do you take vacations?
Oh, I feel like I have so much freedom. I'm in this stage of
Yay.
life where my kids are all grown, and my two girls, I have two boys that are married, and my two girls are still at home. One just graduated from nursing school, one graduates with her occupational therapy doctorate in December.
Oh my gosh.
So
Wow.
they're all, independent. They're so helpful around the house that we are just so free. We don't have grandkids yet. And I feel like I have so much time to do whatever I want. So I love helping people. I love making impact, but our family does take vacations and just plans it in, and we get it done around I guess
Around
maybe,
your
yeah,
schedule, around the kids' schedule, and around your husband's
yeah.
schedule. Everybody's kind of working together to get that done. And
And
is
I
it
think it's just interesting that you asked me this, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we just have so much free time. And so look at that thought. I'm just thinking about this for myself. I'm like, ooh, that is a thought that I just have so much time. versus I'm always
I'm
behind or
always
I don't have time.
right,
Yeah.
right. And I'm always busy. And when could we possibly take a weekend away? No, well, it
Yes.
sounds like you make that a priority too.
Yes. We do a
Okay.
lot of family things and I want to travel. I love traveling. And so we do try to schedule some things in there too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so okay, over the years of you being a professional organizer, I imagine you've come across a fair share of people who need your help to downsize, whether that's entire families with kids or just the empty nester couple or the retired couple. But what happens? What do you do when, like, within that one family, there are different levels of attachment and just a motivation to want to do this, to get rid of stuff, to be able to downsize? How do you work with each individual, or do you not? Like, how do you approach that?
Yes. Well, the first thing I like to think about is this is going to be a project. It has a start and an end date. I like teaching clients to schedule their projects like that because then it doesn't have this overwhelming, oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing this forever. We have a start and an end date. We work on a specific area at a time and we follow the organizing steps. It's really that simple. So that's the first thing we look at. But then the second thing I like to do is help people think about and plan out what that future looks like. Like, what are they organizing to get to? Are they going to be living in a smaller house? Are they going to be doing certain activities? Or do they have certain hobbies? What do they do in their free time? All that kind of thing, so that they can see and have this vision for what we're working toward.
Yeah. Okay. And if there are kids involved, at what age are they able to kind of understand that, do you think?
Oh, yes. Well, I, I just talked to someone yesterday and they still had kids at home. And she
Okay.
was asking, how do I, like, she didn't necessarily downsize, like, as far as retirement goes, but
Yep.
she was like, I want to downsize. I want to be able to move at a moment's notice and move into something less with less responsibility, I guess is how she put it.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And you're doing it the same way, but you're also then being an example for those kids and you're getting them involved in the process and you're teaching them this is what it looks like. This is how the cycle of life kind of works. We
Right.
get things,
Right.
we use them for a certain amount of time or while we're interested in that, and then we let them go for other people to use and other people to enjoy. And that's just kind of the cycle. And so we involve them in it and just live out the example of what that looks like.
Rather than, I love that. And it's more like, instead of telling my child, okay, you must get rid of half of your stuffed toys and a quarter of your toy cars, it's more you're modeling the behavior for them. You're showing them I can get rid of stuff too all around our house, and we need to do that in order to be able to live in our house. Yeah.
Yes. And there's so much benefit for it. Like we're
Yeah.
talking about, I am doing this because this is how I want to live, because this is what we're going to be able to do once we get rid of. And I mean, I even like to not talk about getting rid of. I like to talk about elevating what we have or enjoying our favorite things. We're talking about it like that versus, or out of generosity or abundance versus we're going to get rid of stuff because
Oh my
then
gosh.
immediately my chest tightens and I'm like, oh, don't get rid of my stuff, you know?
Oh,
And I think it takes a lot of work for different individuals. So you know who you are. Maybe that sounds really hard for you. Then you should do the work to shift that mindset, to begin opening up your mind to see other options than what it may go to naturally. And your kids, certain kids might have that same sort of feeling, and it's talking it through with them and it's helping them see maybe something they've been thinking isn't even true. Maybe something else is just as true. Like you enjoy more when you have more space, when you have less toys out, when different things like that that you can approach differently. Or maybe they like traveling, maybe they want to be more involved in a certain sport and they get to have that when they have less things to manage at home and spend less time cleaning their room. Now all of a sudden it's like, no, we get to go out and have fun because it takes less work to do this.
So, and I imagine it sounds like your training as a life coach has really helped you to work with people through all of this, because I can just imagine a husband and wife are not on the same page. They know they have to downsize, they know they have to declutter, they know they need to let go of some things. But what happens when there's an impasse?
Yes, it is so interesting. And I'm working with a husband-wife couple right now, and they both have their issues and they both seem to focus on the other person and what their issues are.
Right,
So
right.
it's really coming back to your own and working through what you want and what you need. And sometimes it does take our brains time to adjust and time to find evidence needed to support maybe a different thought process than we have had
Mhm.
in the past. And that's actually served us in the past. But now that we have new goals and we want to downsize and we want to get rid of some stuff, it might take some work, like adjusting that and some time, really exploring what's happening. So, yes, the
Yeah.
mindset part of it has been so good. And I always tell people, like, back when I organized people in person, I never once thought about mindset. I wasn't like a self-help person in the past. When I came upon this in 2017, I thought, this isn't even going to work. Like, they need me there in person to help them. And then when I
Right, right.
started doing it, I was like, this actually works. When you shift your identity to
Yeah.
believe you are an organized person, or it's possible that you can have half the amount of stuff and a more full life that you enjoy
Right.
and love even more. It is really amazing what happens and what you create and what actions you take just from shifting that mindset and the beliefs that you have.
And so I mean, we're talking about then the decluttering and downsizing. It's not about the space necessarily or only, it's about our identity too. So, what have you seen with people when you've helped them to kind of let go of some of these things that maybe they've been hanging on to for years and years and years? What has their reaction been after the whole
Yeah.
process, and they've moved and they've moved and they've downsized? Have they come back to you with?
Yes. Well, first, it's really a lot of discomfort in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's a lot of those decisions can be really challenging and really hard and take a lot of energy. So to expect that it's not just going to be, oh, yay, I get to get rid of stuff, but it is hard. You're making decisions on a life worth of identities that you've had, and now you're deciding. One woman in my Organized Life Academy really stands out because she did this and they had a time crunch because they found the house that they
Oh
wanted.
gosh.
And so they really had to declutter quickly. And she was in the group and would come and just talk about making these decisions and how much it took. But the coolest thing is now she comes to the group and she's like, I can't even remember one single thing that I let go of. Like I don't remember any of it. I don't think that she regrets letting go of any of it. And the
Mm-hmm.
cool thing is, even if when we're making the decisions to let go of something, and we're worried about, I might need that. I might, want that later. And all those questions that we have. Once we make the decision, I love then making that decision right with your mind.
Yeah.
So you might have regret, but when you have regret, you're letting the decision that you made maybe be wrong. So when
Right.
you really think about, no, I was doing the best I could. I made that decision. That was a good decision. I can find what I need when I need it. I trust that I'll have what I need when I need it, and
Yeah.
start really intentionally choosing to make the decision good and right in that moment that you made.
Oh, that's great. I really like that. So, and you've heard of Swedish death cleaning. I love looking at my own stuff in that way. Like, what am I leaving for the people that I love? And yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully that's many, many, many years in the distant future. But looking at that, how do you work with people to kind of make those decisions? Like, what am I leaving for my loved ones?
Yeah. Have lots of conversations. Some
Okay.
people were just shocked when the topic got brought out that their kids don't really want any of the things. Most
Yeah.
kids don't want much. Now,
Yeah.
there is one woman in our group whose father just passed, and she's like, Tracy, please tell everyone to begin this process now, today, no matter what stage you're in, because when someone passes, you have the added then responsibility to go through all their stuff. And what did they leave you with their stuff? It makes me want to get up right now and go get rid of
And
some more
start going.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
um, but yeah, it's that just as you go deciding what is important and have those conversations. So I was saying that her father had some really great things like
Mhm.
collector items. So she's like, no, my nieces and nephews, they wanted those things. There were people that wanted
Amazing.
them.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
Could
good.
be unique. It's kind of
Yes.
unique
Yeah.
that there are some things. So it just depends on what you have and have those conversations. Let people have it now if you have the
Right.
opportunity to do that.
Right.
And go through all the other stuff that they probably don't want, all the paperwork, all the memorabilia from your childhood,
Right.
whatever it is. Start
Right.
where you can start and get through some things there.
I found that people are kind of afraid. You mentioned paperwork. People are afraid of even starting with the paper. It just feels like such a huge thing. And once you get started, that you're just going to be drowning in the papers. Have you found, I found this a lot actually, when people actually start going through the papers, they get on a roll. It actually goes faster once they begin. Is that kind of
Yeah.
your
Yes. And
take?
again, with paper, decide what you're working toward. If
Right.
you know what papers you need to keep, like
Yeah.
list them out, list the
Mm-hmm.
files out that you need to keep. Decide, talk to your accountant in advance so you know exactly what years of things you need and what you would really even need to keep. And then when you're going through it, yes, it can go really fast. You now have this flow chart of do I need it? Does it fit into this category? Does it fit into the accountant's, laws, whatever, rules? And then it's easy to get rid of stuff. But yes, and I even think about that with digital files. Like one of my clients was working. She's like, Tracy, I got up, I couldn't sleep, and I went to my digital files and I was sorting. And she said, I sorted for 2 hours and had a blast. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, did you ever think that you would say you were sorting digital files and had a blast?
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
that doesn't come out of many people's mouths, I don't think.
Yes. And it feels so good. It feels
It does.
so good
It does.
to lighten the load.
Yeah. When people pass, and you're faced with all of their stuff, there's a real
Mm.
time limit. There's a time crunch to get through all of those things. Yeah. So it even makes sense to do that now. Do you have a, a way of people to how people might start to think about, okay, what legacy am I leaving for my family? What are the things that make sense? Are there categories that you look at, or what do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I do have a program within Organized Life Academy. I called it the Death Binder, and
Mhm.
some people were like, I don't really like that name. So now we call it the Life and Death Binder so
Perfect.
that it has everything that someone would need if something were to happen to you. So that's one
Right.
category as far as all the paperwork, the legal things that you need. And then once beyond that, you can think of rooms. Like one of the things I like to do, and I'm planning to do next year, is go through every room and stage it
Yeah.
as if I was selling my house.
Yeah.
Because then it's really clear. Like if this item is moving with me, it's
Mhm.
important to me or it's important to my kids. So categories I think would be, I mean, thinking about my stage, because my youngest is 21. I have the things that they have at our house that
Right.
haven't left because
Right.
they're all in transition. They don't have houses yet. So we have that category. And then you think about things that they might need when they build a house. We have a
Right.
few things in that category. We have a category of things that maybe we're saving for grandkids, like little special toys that were
Yeah.
fun for our kids. But other than that, it's our hobbies and the big pieces of furniture. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah.
And the things you use daily.
Right.
And other than that, it's like, what else is there
What
besides,
else do you need?
yes, besides other things that you're not using?
Yeah. Oh, no, I get it. Is there anything that your kids have told you, Mom? No way. I don't want that. Absolutely not.
I think it would be pretty much everything because it's so interesting how kids nowadays, a lot of them, I don't know, maybe have more money than the past generation when they started
Right.
moving into
Mm-hmm.
apartments or homes. Maybe we can get things a lot cheaper too. Like you can get a mattress that's so inexpensive on
And
Amazon
Amazon, it
versus,
gets delivered to your house. You don't even have to step
yes.
out of your door. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
There are a few pieces of furniture I think that we have. Well, I shouldn't say a few, maybe one that that is really lovely that I think are for sure our kids would want.
Yeah.
But really, I don't know. I need to ask them. I don't think they would really want too much.
No.
What
What
about
if
yours? Have you had that
we've
conversation?
had the only thing that my kids have looked at, we haven't had the conversation about the furniture because
Yeah.
I really doubt that there's any furniture that they would want. But the one thing I wonder about is your clothes because everything goes around in a cycle. And at some point, will your kids say, "Oh, I want that vintage piece of clothing you have in your closet. Don't get rid of it." Because I have clothes from, the 90s, a few
Hmm.
pieces, like a jacket and things like that that I've kept. And that, for a long time I was saying, hey, it's time to move on, time to get rid of these. And my daughter said, no, don't get rid of that because I might want to wear it someday. Is there
Yeah.
anything like that? Have they thought about that? In
Interesting. I don't know that I have anything. I probably don't keep a lot and don't have cute stuff
nah.
from back then. But right now, my girls and I share clothes a lot. And so one of them has my exact shoe size. She would take a lot of my shoes.
There you go. There you go.
So yeah, that would be one area for sure that they would probably want some things. That's a good point.
For current, I keep thinking,
Yeah,
since
current.
when did my stuff become vintage? I'm still here. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can really think of that my kids might even be interested in.
And I think it really depends too what stage they're at. Because if they're
Yeah,
moving into an apartment and something were to happen to us, I think they definitely would want some of the dishes that we have and cups that they
sure.
grew up with that are still really nice. I think they would
Yeah.
want that to furnish their apartment.
Mm-hmm.
But, 20 years from now, are they going to want anything? No, they're going to pretty
Uh,
much have their own houses furnished and
their
be set up.
style and
Yeah.
their wants. Yeah, no, 100%. So, is there anything that you would tell us people who are going through the downsizing process for the first time? Are there any watch outs, anything that could be major roadblocks for people that maybe we haven't thought about?
The main thing that comes to my mind is if they don't think about where they're going, if they don't have a destination in their GPS, it's going to be really hard. It's going to take a lot more time to make a decision because
Mm-hmm.
they don't know. They might need anything. That's what I'm noticing with clients, my one-on-one clients that I'm working with. We really have to think about that and even map out a house that they would move
Ah,
into and room, what purpose is this room going to serve? How much space will you have in your garage to put things in? And what are your hobbies going to be? Are you going to
yeah.
need all the supplies that go with what you used to do? Are you going to be doing that? Because then they have a guideline to help them make decisions. So that's kind of the first thing is to map out their destination. And then the second thing is to really set up some rules in advance. And rules
Okay.
sound so maybe bumpers like in bowling.
There you
They have
go. Ah,
bumpers.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, but little rules like, you know, I just use socks as an example because it's easy. We all have them. But like, how many
Yeah.
short socks do you need? How many fuzzy socks do you need? How many boot socks do you need?
Right.
in thinking through that in advance. Like, how many cups do you really need to live off of and maybe have company in? And you
Yeah.
definitely don't need four cabinets of cups or plates or whatever. So deciding those things before you even open cabinets, because now you get to that spot and you're like, okay, it's going to fit in this cabinet. Okay, there's room for this many things like mugs, coffee mugs. How many mugs do you really need in your new house? How many
Yeah.
companies, how many people, guests would you have when you all need a mug at the same time? I
Right.
mean, 15? I don't know. Like you get to decide, but
Yeah.
decide that in advance and think through that. And then when you make decisions, you're shortening that cycle of making decisions and then using that when you make a decision, you're going to make it right by what you're thinking about
Hmm.
afterward. So those three things are really guides for downsizing and shortening the decision-making process.
Yeah. But I really love that thought that the decision I made is the right decision. I
Yes.
really, really like that. And that's really great.
Yeah. And
How,
before you make it, there isn't a right and wrong decision. Like you get to keep and choose what you want to keep. I think that's the important thing to notice. Like neither one is right or wrong until after you make the decision
right.
and then you make it right or wrong by what
Mhm.
you're thinking about it. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome. What made you decide to become an organizer all those years ago?
yeah, I was a stay-at-home mom. I had four kids, and I would want to go out to parks and go play and have play dates and do fun
Yeah.
things. And often I had friends that were like, I need to stay home. I have cleaning. I need to organize this, declutter that. And I was like, I just want to go have fun. And then one of my daughters best friends lives down the street from us, and her mom is kind of the first time I saw this. Her mom didn't allow anybody in the house. And
Wow. Oh,
I didn't, my daughter could never go play. I never went to her house to have
yeah.
coffee or hang out. And we
And
started talking about it.
I'm sorry, I interrupted,
No,
but
go
did she
ahead.
say this outright? Like, no, not in my house?
Yeah, like I would
Ah,
say I'm going to drop something off and, no, I'll meet you, that
right.
kind of thing.
Right. Got it. Got it.
And it was really clear of that. So her and I started talking and I was like, I could help. Like,
Right.
why live in that pain and shame? I think a lot of what she felt was shame
That's shame.
and
Yeah.
for herself and for her girls and how, they were having to live. And so I started, once my youngest started school, I started helping her.
Hmm.
And then I started helping other people and it just grew from there. And I knew it was a job that was flexible. So I wanted to be there
Yeah.
with my kids and it was a flexible job I could do. And so it really has been just a great career, I guess. And as I
Yeah.
grew my business and enjoyed doing different things with marketing and speaking and teaching on the topics, it's been a great thing. I've always thought, maybe I should do something else. And then this year, I think more than ever, I just really feel called to this. And I feel like I'm getting to impact people to create the lives that they love and to get through some of those harder emotions that go with it. And so it's been just such a joy.
I love that. Oh, fantastic. Do you have you always thought of yourself as I'm an organized person? Has that always been your identity?
I think I am like, what's the right word? Realistically down to earth organized. I think of the definition of organized as knowing what you have and being able to find it when you need it. So
Okay.
that's my definition. I feel like using that definition, yes, I'm organized
Okay.
80% of the time.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people too. I'm like,
Okay.
it's not perfection, it's 80%. And, but am I Pinterest and Instagram photos organized? Absolutely not. Like once in a while, I'll try to like hang my clothes in the right order, color order, or something like that. But do I alphabetize my vegetables? No. All my cans are on the bottom drawer in our pantry, and that's fine. They don't need to be in any order.
No, I hear you. Do you remember that movie with Julia Roberts where the cans had to be facing the right
Oh, yeah.
way from those years ago? Yeah, yeah. So I think
Well,
People like have this vision in their mind that that's what organizers are. And I want to tell them, oh my gosh, my house is messy because I live in it. But
Right.
yes, I know where everything is and I know that I can clean up in 10 minutes because I know where everything goes. So that
That's
doesn't worry
it.
me. There's no worry.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it, that our stuff has homes and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
fits in the home so that when we throw stuff on the bar, when we walk in, that can get put away quickly because things have homes.
Right.
And
Right.
very simple. But I did go into an organizer's house in Kansas City when I don't, this was probably 20 years ago, or I guess not, 15 years ago. And she did. Her cans in
Ooh.
her pantry were alphabetized. And I was like, oh my goodness, I am a failure. Like, how am I helping people? So
Right.
don't compare yourself to anyone else. It's use the definition. If you can know what you have and you can find it when you need it, then you are organized and you can find it 80% of the time.
80% of the time. And don't compare, don't compare, don't compare.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much. So tell us where we can find you online. How can we get in touch with you?
Yes, my website is simply squaredaway.com. Everything is on there. And my podcast is the Organized Coach Podcast.
Awesome.
And yeah, I have a free download. It's new and
Ooh,
it's like blowing my mind because women are loving it, sending me before and after pictures. So it's the 15-minute declutter challenge and it's at simplysquaredaway.com/declutter.
awesome. Okay. We'll put that in the show notes too. Put all your information there. Thank you so much, Tracy,
Thank you,
for
Z.
chatting with me today. It's always
It's
fun to talk to other organizers and
I know it is
to,
fun and realize
yeah,
we're so much alike and
we
that
are
we
alike.
teach the similar things and they're making a difference.
Love it. Thank you so, so much.